American colleges and universities have a long way to go when it comes to properly addressing sexual assault and understanding the issue, much like the rest of American society. Lately, thanks to the activism of students and cultural leaders like Vice President Joe Biden and the filmmakers of the film The Hunting Ground, there has been a national spotlight on how schools handle this issue, specifically how they have the power and responsibility to prevent and help remedy sexual assault, and how they often fall short of their responsibilities and instead enable rape and rape culture. Many schools have been working hard to improve their policies and procedures in an earnest attempt to fulfill their ethical and legal responsibilities towards their students, or at the very least to clean up various PR crises. But what few schools have done, astonishingly, is apologize to the students who they've let down while they've struggled to get it right, especially to survivors whose trauma has been compounded by what often feels like institutional betrayal. So my co-organizer, Wagatwe, and I have been demanding apologies from our schools and from all schools and encouraging other survivors and allies to do the same. As you may know, we've been burning symbolic items from our schools every week until we either run out of things to burn or start hearing apologies. I have run out of things to burn from my alma mater, Harvard Law School, which has yet to acknowledge fault in spite of having been found responsible for violating Title IX, federal civil rights law, in the way that it handled my case and several other students' cases. So now I'm going to be burning things that other survivors sent to me. The first such object is a sweatshirt from a woman who we'll call Kay, from the University of Tennessee. Kay was sexually assaulted in January by a fellow student who she thought was her friend. She reported it to the police and her school. The criminal process is barely getting started. She is still waiting for her rape kit results. And as we know, these things can take forever. My criminal case took 4 years, at least 4 years. And also we know that of the few survivors who do report to the police, even fewer seek prosecution or criminal trial. The school process, however, is much more accessible, and that process for Kay wrapped up already. After a painful investigation and hearing, there was enough evidence that the University of Tennessee did find Kay's assailant responsible for raping her. The catch is what they thought was an appropriate sanction. Although Kay requested the sanction of permanent dismissal, in other words, expulsion, the university decided on the sanction of indefinite suspension. At the University of Tennessee, indefinite suspension means that you can apply for readmission after having regular meetings with a school official. It's unclear if this school official is trained in sex offender rehabilitation, but I doubt it. What is clear is that this sanction is not only inadequate, but it leaves his victim with the prospect of running into her assailant on campus as he comes back for these regular required meetings. How does that make her and other students at UT safer? How does that help her continue her education without the fear of running into her rapist? It's almost as if the administration goes out of its way to keep rapists around. Needless to say, Kay is not satisfied with this outcome. Here's her statement. I'll never forget walking into my best friend's room that morning. "What's wrong?" she asked. "He raped me," were the only words I said before I began having a panic attack. The way I felt in those early hours after being raped can only be described as the lowest moment of my life. My friends drove me to the police while I was literally kicking the seat and ripping my skin because I wanted out of my own body. Someone I trusted to take care of me instead took full advantage of me as he both orally and anally raped me. I never thought I would feel as betrayed and deceived as I did during the assault, but then I went through the university hearing at my school. I sat through a 4.5-hour long hearing of listening to my rapist talk about how I did drugs before going out, got into fights with Uber drivers, and other ludicrous fabrications that, even if true, still give no one the right to penetrate my body without my consent. But here's the thing, he didn't fool UT either. They knew it was bullshit too, and they found him responsible. Here's where the story somehow gets worse. For this part, Kay speaks directly to her school, the University of Tennessee. So you can find him by your own proceedings responsible for violating UT's code of conduct by engaging in acts of forcible sodomy. But that's not enough to warrant an expulsion. No. Instead, you're comfortable with holding his degree for 1 year while he meets with the vice chancellor to discuss his future actions. You claim to take sexual assault very seriously, but when you actually find someone responsible, you prove the exact opposite. You take cheating more seriously than you do rape. The most upsetting part is that for me, the sanction says, this happened to you. We know this happened to you. We just don't value you enough to do the right thing about it. And that's unfortunate because I'm worth valuing. As someone who knows what it's like to receive the very clear message from my own school that I am not valued, I feel Kay's pain, as I'm sure many of you watching do as well. Kay ends her powerful statement with one last line. She says, "Kamilah, light that shit up." Kay, it would be my pleasure. So, we have like a ritual now, right? I'll make this a nice little burnable package. Douse it in lighter fluid in a totally safe way that I have totally under control. Right? Probably overdo it a little bit because I get excited about this part. Move other flammables out of the way. And then try a few times to make it catch fire. There we go. University of Tennessee, I challenge you. Kay, your student challenges you. Volunteer to just say sorry. I mean, do better, by all means. Like, actually do better. Fix your policies. Suspension is not an appropriate sanction for forcible sodomy or any other form of sexual violence. Yeah, do better. Just say sorry. You can do both. Now it's doing that thing like it did with my Harvard thing, or like, see how the words seem highlighted.